Today Show USA, where we welcome people from all around the world to participate in what we've got going on from here. I personally am out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. My name is Kurt Roskoff, and I'm your ambassador today from the Disability Channel, showcasing abilities. We are television, by with people with disabilities and veterans, and we have these shows that we offer friends from around the world to come on and share who they are, what they do, and their products and services. And then, as a co-host team between Sue, Emily, and us, we are the ones that kind of help shape the conversation. We have guests like Diane who come on here and they bring us into a very important component. So Diane's here today to get us thinking about our makeup, about the building blocks of us as a person physically, and the health component, and to think of how we help people be the best version of themselves. So when we think of the version of ourselves, part of that is physical. You know, our choices for our health, our brain health, how much vitality we are going for. And in this component of the Disability Channel, showcasing abilities, and my coming into this through disability advocacy, it's about access. How are we giving access to our fellow human beings around the world to be healthy all the way down to the cellular level? It all goes hand in hand. What happens at the cellular level manifests itself in the way that we more see in the mirror, more see on a show like this, the TDC Today Show, and in the mirror when we look ourselves in the mirror. So this is a very vibrant component we're going to be bringing forward today. So Diane, thank you for being our panelist, I guess. And, you know, Sue and I and Emily were very interested in having yet another way that your company and products and just your conversation, you know, you have a WhatsApp group and so forth. So a lot of work in this wellness, health, well-being area. And you get right down to building blocks, and you talk about parasites and, you know, all of this stuff that is, you know, out of sight, out of mind. So I want to really celebrate that. We're going to speak to this today because it may be out of sight, but it's going in the eardrum and it can go into that brain. And now we can decide, now that we're aware what's going on and what we don't see, are we going to do anything about it? So Dan, tell us more about it. Tell us more about why you do what you do and what you're passionate about sharing with every person that might have a health, wellness, well-being goal. Take it away, Diane.
Kurt, thank you so much for having me today. I am absolutely passionate about cellular health. And 2 years ago, if you'd have told me that was my forthcoming mission, I would have just chuckled. I wasn't trained as a scientist, a biologist. I'm certainly not a doctor. I grew up in the world of computers and software. So, but 2 years ago, I was really praying about the effect and the impact that pharma had on some of my children. And under doctor's orders, the prescriptions that they were authorized to take was way more than any one human being should have. And so it was a devastating decade for both of them. They were debilitated and being so doped up. In that fervent prayer, I got a phone call about ASEA, A-S-E-A, ASEA, the C. And what I discovered was that it just sounded good to be true, that I just kind of poo-pooed things a little bit. But in being forewarned, when you hear the big guy upstairs say something, you pay attention. So I called this little gal back and said, I'm going to try this product, but I want you to know I'm going to prove it wrong. And she chuckled and said, okay. And within 5 days, I had such a profound experience myself with my arthritic hands that I could now open a bottle of water by myself, with debilitating leg cramps that were no longer bothering me. I have 2 titanium hips that I struggled to spend any time walking or exercising with. Within 3 months, I'm, walking several miles with no pain and no need to manage that pain. So I never looked back after that. Obviously, got both my children on it, got my sisters, and have now in the last 2 years brought over 100 people to the product and seen amazing results, absolutely fascinating results. So because it's a supplement, we don't claim to be a cure for any medical disease. We don't claim to diagnose anything. But here's the bottom line. Kurt was absolutely right. It's all about the foundation of our self. Millions of people are trapped in the revolving cycle of having a symptom, getting a diagnosis, receiving a prescription. Then, after time on the prescription, they have another symptom that gets another diagnosis for another prescription. And that cycle goes and goes, and then decades later, you're looking at 25 pills, which is why the pill boxes are so popular in the aging community, to be able to remember them all. So we need to stop the cycle. We need to absolutely stop the cycle, because we live and we die at the cellular level. I'm Sue, with your background, you'd be so interested in this. At birth, and you probably know it, we are born with 75 trillion cells, each with a mitochondria. The mitochondria is the energy plant, and the energy plant is what produces these cell signaling molecules that interact with the complex communication system that our body hosts. And because of that interaction and those cell signaling molecules, at a young age, we can do backflips, and we have beautiful full hair, and we don't have any wrinkles, and all of these things work. We don't have to worry about our fingers working, etc. As just age alone, from age 10, we start losing 10% per decade of those cell signaling molecules. And as we lose those, we lose the production capability to make enough of those for our aging process. But now, slap me with an illness, slap me with trauma, slap me with parasites, and we really don't have enough of the cell signaling molecules. So I think the most important part of this is understanding what is a cell signaling molecule. It is energy. It's where energy meets matter. And energy is these fleeting, I think of them as my billions of Tinkerbells that I have in my body that are doing their job, and they're turning on the cells and turning off the cells and repairing them and replacing them. And it's all this energy bleeding around. But if you think of a cell phone, many people, if you don't have a cell phone, you're in the minority at this stage of the game. But all of us know that when we're having trouble hearing, having trouble connecting, that we look at the number of bars that we have on the connection, right? And that's exactly what's going on in our bodies. Our bodies are sick. We're probably down to a 1 bar or a 0, because we're sick at the cellular level. When you get sick, your cells are sick. 90% of all illness is inflammation. So what is inflammation? Inflammation is oxidative stress. That's what the cell knows as oxidative stress. And it flashes out and produces what we call inflammation, swelling, red sadness, etc. But it's the cell that's struggling. So we need to first reduce that inflammation in order to get rid of the disease. Okay, so what causes the inflammation? 97% of inflammation, 97% of disease is caused by parasites. Cellular protozoa, spirochetes, liver flukes, worms, horsehair worms, hookworms, whipworms, all kinds of worms. So what we need to do is detox and redox. Oh, everyone knows detox. That's the bad stuff out of your body. Parasites, chemicals, just detoxing from a clay mask sometimes feels good, right? From an external point of view. But when we then redox, we drink cell signaling molecules. We apply cell signaling molecules to our skin. Then we are putting back the energy. We're turning on the light switch in our body so that the cells can communicate again with each other. It's like charging your cell phone. We're charging the body with these cell signaling molecules. So I'm going to take a breath. I've given kind of a lot of information. I want to make sure I'm on track for how you are or what your show is.
I personally find this fascinating because there's a lot of stuff, and I'm a science nerd. I love science. I love all of that. And there's a lot of, once you get into those finer details, there's still so much about the body that's still being understood. And my level of understanding obviously is not 100%. Nobody's is at this point. We're still learning. There's going to be research happening for years to come. And so that's where I really do try to wrap my mind around what this all is and what it does. And with that, I think testimonies mean the world in understanding how this applies in the real world. Because even with the science background I have, I still don't understand everything, So do you have some examples? I know you gave some with yourself. Do you have others that are, I don't know if you want to say success stories or what? I guess I'm looking at asking you two things. What's been kind of a typical thing that happens with people, if there is such a thing? Mm-hmm. And the second one is if you have some favorite stories of success stories that you know with people.
I would be happy to. You're absolutely right about the science of redox, which is the reductants and the oxidants at the cellular level. Some of you are familiar with the term antioxidant. For the last 40 years, everybody's been taking a supplement that's an antioxidant. Well, by the nature of taking antioxidants, we're leaving out oxidants, saying they're bad almost, right? Because we don't talk about them, so they must be bad. No, they're vital. And the balance between them around the cells is what's critical, and that's what's important. And so getting into redox homeostasis, a balance of all those cells in our body, is what begins the healing process for us. If you think about every organ in our body, doesn't matter what it is, the heart, lung, the bloodstream, the autoimmune system, they're all built on a foundation of cells. So it's almost scientifically impossible for this not to work because we're cells. It works for animals because they're cells. It works in plants. When I think mine is getting a little maybe aged, I put it in my plant and it gets so happy. So anything is going to react to these cell signaling molecules. Some of the most common things that happen for people right away. Better sleep. Oh my gosh, I haven't slept that well for years. That's a real common one. When you apply the gel to a targeted problematic spot, tennis elbow, a knee, that's you're thinking you need replaced, and you put that gel on you 3 times in 5 minutes, it's like a miracle. It's like it just intensifies all the molecules in one area and brings that inflammation down. It's inflammation that's the culprit here. So better sleep, instant relief in many, many cases. Ability for movement, when people are overweight because they can't move, that's a catch-22. You want to lose weight, you want to move, and it hurts so bad, you just want to sit still and not move. When I started moving again, it happened naturally. I didn't have to fight what I ate anymore because I was moving again. So those are 3 big ones that change people's lives. The debilitating leg cramps, the poor breathing, that interrupts your sleep. And your sleep is where our body repairs and gets that repairing time. And when that's interrupted every night, that's like not good. That's just not good. So putting it on the back of your neck, down the vagus nerve, is going to really help sleep. Migraines, across the top of the head, back, targeted. With the water that you drink, it is made from the exact same thing that the body uses to create these cell signaling molecules, which is salt and water. Taste your tears if you don't think salt in your body. Do. And the mitochondria uses that salt in that water. I believe we're about, you can help me here, Sue, I think we're about 60% water in the human body. You're on mute.
I'm sorry. I said I'm going to Google the right number because I don't remember off the top of my head.
I hope you do, because I do think it's close, but I'm not sure I'm right on. But with that unending salt and water in the body, that's where the cell signaling molecules are made from. So it's really the human body that's miraculous. It wants to heal. God gave us everything we needed in this body to heal itself. That science health breakthrough. Did you find it?
I did. 60%. You
Okay.
got it.
I score. The science health breakthrough was when ASEA was able to stabilize these cell signaling molecules outside of the human body for consumption. Now, even the founder himself didn't think this was going to be possible. He knew what needed to be done, but he really, after years of working this, didn't think it would be possible. And when it happened, and the breakthrough, he could see that the breakthrough was there, and they had the formula for stabilizing these fleeting bits of energy in a big blue bottle. He said, his words, a divine hand was in this process. So that's the kind of company that I stand behind, that I work for, that I am proud to represent. I think it's important to know that what it's not. ASEA is not a vitamin. It's not a mineral. It's not an antioxidant exotic juice. It's not an essential oil or CBD oil. It goes way beyond nutrition and ingredients. It is impacting your health at a depth that no other has ever come close to impacting. No other company, no other product. Now, 7 patents, 200 trade secrets, and people say, well, they get to the cellular level, and many do. There are some great products out there that get to the cellular level, but reproduce the cell signaling molecules that the body makes. That's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So, favorite stories. A year and a half ago, I had a devastating hour with a gentleman. I knew his sister. I didn't know him. Grew up with his sister, but he was younger. He didn't know him. He was sharing with me. I hope this is okay for your show. He was sharing with me that he knew exactly how he was going to end his life. He knew he was going to be in his truck. He knew how fast he had to be going to hit the piece of concrete that would hit it at an impact that would flip it just at exact angle to turn him over in the river. He had it all planned out, absolutely all planned out. And I said, I am not, I am not educated and versed in handling this situation. And all I could say is, wow, if you're telling me about this, then chances are pretty good you really don't want to go through with it. Am I right?
I would agree. It's a cry for help.
Said, yes. And he said, I just can't live like this anymore. And he had MS, and he was dragging his right foot around on a big shepherd's cane. And he knew he was weeks from a wheelchair, weeks. So I said, give me 3 months and do just everything I tell you to do. Just give me 3 months. I'm not a doctor. I cannot profess to be able to heal you, but I believe I can get you out of enough pain that will help you. And he agreed. It's been over a year. And last winter, he called me and said, guess what I saw today? I said, what'd you see today? We have a lot of snow in this town. And he said, I had 2 footprints in the snow today. Now, this is the man that was dragging his right foot on, from a cane. So that brought tears to both of our eyes. And then the most recent conversation I had with him is he was not in a wheelchair, not even using his cane, but he was walking across his field. I live in a farm agricultural community. Walking across his field. Now that's 1 feet in and of itself because it's rocky and bumpy and it's big. He had a chainsaw in one hand, and it was probably about a 35-pound chainsaw. So that's probably one of my favorite stories too.
I can believe that. I love that story.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
A close second would actually be his sister. And there's so many. I could go on. I can think next week, same time, same place. His sister, type 1 diabetic, 35 years on a pump. When I sat with her, she had the inability to use her feet anymore. She too was headed for a wheelchair. Her husband was going to take her keys away because she was going blind. Her kidneys were in failure mode. And all because of being on all these medications for all of these years, 35 years. And she was going blind. Did I mention that? So within 7 months, actually within 2 weeks, she got her feet back. That came back first. The neuropathy and the pain in her feet had gone away. She is, are you familiar with the CJ5? It's a Jeep. It's a 5 on the floor, and it moves and shakes. And she races Jeeps and has since she was teens, and she's 62. Okay, still racing Jeeps. And after 2 weeks on a CS, she was back racing Jeeps because she had her feet back. And then in about 7 months, she got the best report that she'd had since high school on her kidneys. And she got to stop having shots put in one eye. So it's still a work in progress because there's a lot of things that go with being sick for that long, like eating habits, not moving, not enough hydration. All of those things have to be worked on too, and it's not, we just get there overnight. But I'm proud to say that I meet with both of these people on a regular basis, and they just continue to improve. So those are two of my favorites.
I love that story. And actually, I'm going to pass the mic back over to Kurt here to wrap up this episode. And I sincerely hope we can have you on again here. And I would love to hear more. So, Kurt, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody gathered here, including those in our Zoom gallery. And so we are segueing into asking you to look forward to our next show. So the next show is going to be a next step in all of our work showcasing abilities, take care of more insights with the Disability Channel and our other shows at the website, thedisabilitychannel.ca. And if there's anything I can do with you and for you as your ambassador, feel free to give me a call, 262-372-1754. And you can also reach me through our nonprofit fiscal agent, Project iHeart, Kurt, K-U-R-T, at projectiheart.org. So we'll bid you farewell, and we're looking forward to having you right back with us at our next show. This is your TDC Today Show USA, again, welcoming people from all around the world.
Recording stopped.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I love it.